Western prescription has some great focuses, and is incredible in a crisis, yet it's about time that individuals understood that the present standard solution, Western pharmaceutical or allopathy, with its emphasis on drugs, radiation, drugs, surgery, medications and more medications, is at its establishment a cash-turning Rockefeller creation. Individuals nowadays take a gander at you like a weirdo in the event that you discuss the recuperating properties of plants or some other all-encompassing practices. Much like whatever else, legislative issues and cash have been utilized to twist individuals' brains and urge them to grasp what is awful for them. Everything started with John D. Rockefeller, 1839 to 1937, who was an oilhead honcho, a thief aristocrat, America's initial extremely rich person, and a characteristic conceived monopolist. By the turn on the 20th century, he controlled 90% of all oil refineries in the U.S. through his oil organization, Standard Oil, which was later on separated to end up Chevron, Exxon, Mobil and so forth. World Affairs reports, in the meantime, around 1900, researchers found petrochemicals and the capacity to make a wide range of chemicals from oil. For instance, the primary plastic, called Bakelite, was produced using oil in 1907. Researchers were finding different vitamins and speculated that numerous pharmaceutical medications could be produced using oil. This was a great open door for Rockefeller who saw the capacity to corner the oil, compound and the therapeutic enterprises in the meantime. The best thing about petrochemicals was that everything could be licensed and sold for high benefits. Be that as it may, there was one issue with Rockefeller's arrangement for the therapeutic business. Natural meds were extremely mainstream in America around then. Half the specialists and medicinal universities in the U.S. were honing comprehensive solution, utilizing information from Europe and Native Americans. Rockefeller, the monopolist, needed to make sense of an approach to dispose of his greatest rivalry. So he utilized the exemplary methodology of issue-response arrangement. That is, make an issue and terrify individuals, and afterward offer a prearranged arrangement. Like psychological warfare alarm, trailed by the nationalist tact. He went to his mate Andrew Carnegie, another tycoon who profited from consuming the steel business, who contrived a plan. From the esteemed Carnegie Foundation, they sent a man named Abraham Flexner to movement around the nation and write about the status of therapeutic schools and healing facilities around the nation. This prompted the Flexner Report, which brought forth the advanced pharmaceutical as we probably am aware it. Obviously, the report discussed the requirement for redoing and bringing together our restorative establishments. In light of this report, the greater part of every single medicinal school were soon shut. Homeopathy and regular pharmaceuticals were derided and vilified, and specialists were even imprisoned. To help with the progress and change the brains of different specialists and researchers, Rockefeller gave more than $100 million to universities, doctors' facilities and established a charitable front gathering called General Education Board, GEB. This is the great carrot and stick approach. In a brief span, therapeutic universities were altogether streamlined and homogenized. Every one of the understudies were taking in a similar thing, and prescription was tied in with utilizing licensed medications. Researchers got gigantic gifts to consider how plants cured illnesses, however their objective was to first recognize which chemicals in the plant were viable, and afterward reproduce a comparative substance, yet not indistinguishable, in the lab that could be licensed. A pill for an evil turned into the mantra for current solution. Furthermore, you thought Koch's siblings were shrewd? Along these lines, now we are, after 100 years, producing specialists who know nothing about the advantages of sustenance or herbs or any comprehensive practices. We have a whole society that is oppressed to companies for its prosperity. America burns through 15% of its GDP on social insurance, which ought to be truly called wiped-out care. It is centered not around cure, but rather just on side effects, in this manner making rehashed clients. There is no cure for malignancy, diabetes, extreme introvertedness, asthma, or even influenza. For what reason would there be genuine cures? This is a framework established by oligarchs and tycoons, not by specialists. With respect to malignancy, gracious definitely, the American Cancer Society was established by none other than Rockefeller in 1913. In this long stretch of bosom malignancy mindfulness, it is miserable to see individuals being mentally conditioned about chemotherapy, radiation and surgery. That is for another blog entry. However, here is a statement from John D. Rockefeller that outlines his New World Order vision for America.